President Biden on the ground in Maui
We'll do everything possible to help you recover.
in the wake of devastating wildfires. A new exhibit in North Miami
It's about loving your country.
featuring photos of an iconic artist. And local actors work on the art of improv.
Improv gives us a vehicle to be authentic.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Kelly Sanchez.
I'm Leanne Abutor-Bush. Today is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
President Biden on the ground in Hawaii in the aftermath of devastating wildfires. The President and the First Lady arrived in Maui yesterday to see the damage firsthand.
As CNN's Emily Schmitz reports, Biden repeated his promise of federal support.
Even after nearly 2 weeks of seeing wildfire damage, people impacted can barely believe their eyes.
It's hard to take in, just seeing all this devastation. I don't know what to think.
Monday, President Biden visited Maui to see what's been lost and say how the federal government is helping.
The country grieves with you, stands with you, and will do everything possible to help you recover, rebuild, and respect culture and traditions when the rebuilding takes place.
President Biden had said he would not visit until he wouldn't be a hindrance. It's reflective of mixed emotions in Maui. Those who say the official response has been too slow.
I think everyone's a little bit let down at the lack of response from our government.
Those who counter official action has been too fast.
We feel that the government is steamrolling this process without consulting from the leaders of our community.
Meanwhile, challenges remain. At least 114 people died in the fires, with that number expected to rise as about 850 people are still missing. The White House says there are nearly 450 federal search and rescue team members helping, hundreds more federal personnel, and FEMA has made available more than 50,000 meals. Local officials say they are grateful for the help, but want the president to know they see more need for much longer.
It's just a long and winding road ahead of us.
I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
New this morning, it looks like Miami's mayor will not be on the stage for tomorrow's Republican presidential debate. The Republican National Committee put out its list of qualifiers late last night, and Francis Suarez's name was left out of that list. To qualify, the mayor would have to have been polling at 1% or more on various national and state polls.
Former President Donald Trump, along with 4 other co-defendants in the Georgia 2020 election case, have negotiated bond agreements with prosecutors. CNN's Brian Todd has more on what the former president and his co-defendants can expect when they turn themselves in.
Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and 17 other defendants this week are expected to be formally booked at the Fulton County Jail, also known as Rice Street, a hulking, crumbling structure that's garnered a notorious reputation. The sheriff of Fulton County insisting that, despite their high profiles, Trump and the others will be treated like every other defendant booked at this jail.
If you're indicted, then we're going to treat you as though you were indicted here locally. And so we will continue to do fingerprints, mugshots, etc.
What might it look like inside when Trump and the others formally surrender? Retired Fulton County Sheriff's Lieutenant Charles Rambo says normally people who are surrendering come through the facility's front door first. But regardless of which entrances Trump and the others arrive in,
they would be packed down, led to the booking office in the rear. From there, they probably will have to have ties and shoestrings and all those type of things taken. Then from there, the persons would be fingerprinted, given a booking photo.
Donald Trump and the other defendants are expected to be photographed for mugshots, but it's unclear when those pictures will be made public. People familiar with the process tell CNN normally those booked at this jail are searched thoroughly by a jail deputy and at some point given a medical examination and a pre-trial screening to determine if they can sign out on their own recognizance. But it's not clear if Trump or the other high-profile defendants in this case will go through those steps. For a normal defendant, it would take hours to go through those procedures. But with these defendants?
I don't expect Trump to spend hours in this jail because the longer he is, I mean, it's a pain. It's going to be a hassle for the entire sheriff's department, or at least those that are at the jail when the president is there. It's going to be a circus.
Severe weather is expected to bring heavy rain and wind gusts to parts of Texas. According to the forecast, Tropical Storm Harold is making landfall this morning, with tropical storm warnings and watches already in place. It has wind gusts of 45 miles per hour. Some areas may get storm surges up to 3 feet and see tornadoes.
Amazing pictures out this morning showing construction equipment being used to save mudslide victims. This is Palm Springs, California, near Los Angeles. It's one of the areas affected by post-tropical cyclone Hilary yesterday. The mudslides clogged roadways, trapped cars, and left many in need of rescue.
We set up sandbags over the weekend thinking that would be sufficient, but it blew right through them. There's boulders in the backyard that I don't know how they got on that side of the garage, but there's boulders the size of a Volkswagen that are just sitting over there. So strange.
As its peak, Hilary was a Category 4 hurricane in the Eastern Pacific.
A new exhibit has unveiled, and it is in Florida International University's own Hubert Library. As Caplin's Paloma Pimentel reports, it portrays images of legendary Andy Warhol along with a high-profile university donor.
The Carta School of Communication, Architecture, and the Arts opened an art exhibition on August 10 that will be accessible to the public until November 3rd, titled Warhol's Journey Through China at the Glenn Hubert Library. The exhibition, presented by one of Carta's most valuable funders, Lee Caplin, displays captivating photographs and features clips of a documentary that tells the story of when artist Andy Warhol, documentalist Lee Caplin, and photographer Christopher Marcos visited China at the end of Mao Zedong's regime in the early 80s. These individuals were considered to be one of the first waves of Western artists that were invited to the Asian country and that witnessed the early exchange between Western liberalism and post-communist China. Behind me are photographic displays of Warhol's journey through China, which the FIU community will talk to us more about.
Warhol visited China. The mentality, the spirit were about being a good citizen, ethics. It's about loving your country, being a good citizen. It's nothing about materialism, consumerism.
Well, I hope they get a feeling of how China was 40 years ago when there were very few cars, no commerciality. Everybody wore what they called the Mao suit and got around on bicycles. And also Andy was inspired by what he saw in China, and when he came back he started painting big graphic images, and he talked about what he wanted to paint when he got back to New York while we were in China.
Reception guests enjoyed complimentary snacks and drinks while gazing at and discussing the artwork displays on the walls located on the first floor of the library. I am Paloma Pimentel from the Caplin News, signing off.
Pop star Lana Del Rey released details about her upcoming exclusive tour in the U.S., which includes a stop in South Florida. Singer-songwriter Lana Del Rey is expected to tour after almost a year around 10 cities in the U.S. She begins her first venture in Franklin, Tennessee on September 14th. The only stop near our area is in West Palm Beach on September 23rd. Fans can buy their tickets beginning this Friday at 10 a.m.
The tropical weather couldn't stop last night's Marlins game, but it was raining home runs.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Improv gives us a vehicle to be authentic, to not be judged, to be supported, and all those things together.
No script, no problem for a group of actors in South Florida. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes?
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panthertech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
A local group exploring the art of improv. Improv can help better your cognitive and social skills.
Caplin News' Parsa Sajadi shows us a non-profit organization in the south side of Miami showing just that.
Right. This way. Police Ted because of you!
Welcome to the Color Bay Community Theater, or CBCT for short. At Old Color Road, the CBCT holds improv sessions every Monday night at 7 p.m. Every other Monday, it's online, but on the opposite Mondays, it's in person. This summer, the in-person sessions are taking place at the Delata Estate, but otherwise, it's usually held on the second floor of the Palmetto Bay Branch Library. Now, why those places and not a theater?
The reason is this is the venue we could secure. The price is right, the room is big, the place is lovely, and any place that we would meet and do these sketches is our theater.
Improv can be done anywhere at any time. It's always a part of our lives. But in Miami-Dade, there are very few theater groups that are low cost or free for anyone to walk in. This nonprofit organization is an exception. Donations are optional, but recommended. For CBCT members, this isn't just 2 hours of escapism. Through different games without saying no, improv can also boost their self-affirmation.
I think a lot of times humans, we repress our ultimate selves. Improv gives us a vehicle to be authentic, to not be judged, to be supported, and all those things together really can help and strengthen our own selves.
I know it's been keeping me out of jail for a while.
Improv allows us to think more creatively and authentically without the fear of judgment. So if you're in Miami and want to get into theater, or just want to be part of a supportive community, the CBCT welcomes you at no cost. I'm Parsa Sajadi for Caplin News.
The Miami Marlins have been struggling to stay afloat after losing to the San Diego Padres. The Fish can't seem to catch a break, losing 5 out of their last 6 games. This loss also puts the Padres just 4 games behind the Marlins in the wild card race. So if the Marlins are able to make the playoffs this year, they need to start finding their rhythm again. The final score was Marlins 2, Padres 6. The Marlins will play the Padres again late tonight at 9:40. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Leanne Abutarbush.
I'm Kelly Sanchez. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.